Uncompetitive, what is up? You are first. Yo, 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 what is good, everybody? It is your boy Lincoln Clay coming back at you. You know what to do. Hit the like button, the bell icon, whoop de whoop, all that good stuff. If you're new to the channel, welcome aboard. And please excuse all the clicking as I forgot to copy and paste this to Twitter. That is done now, and I'm ready to get on their way. So, how is everybody doing today? It is Saturday. Michael Smith, how are you? So, what do we got here today? Not a terrible amount of news this week, but I haven't done a podcast in about a week, so uh, I needed to do something. And so let's get right down to it. Yesterday there was Spartan God. What is going on with you, man? Spartan God. Now that I finally heard what you sound like, Sick Humor probably said it best, where he thought you were like a meme. I thought, it seemed like you were like a bot because you were in all the chats, but nobody heard what you sound like. So now that I finally heard what you sound like, it's I'm getting used to it. But it's good to have you in these podcasts, man. You got good insight, and it's always good to get another perspective on a lot of these gaming topics. So yesterday there was a good amount of videos going around talking about Xbox sales are down 48%. I don't know where this originated from. Oh, games are trending on Amazon. All right. I don't know where this information originated from, and I don't feel like doing the legwork to go find out where it came from. But I would imagine for so many people to be talking about that topic, it had to come from somewhere. It came from MPD. Okay, cool. So, excuse me. So that begs the question, with Xbox sales being down 48%, I wonder not only how did Phil Spencer, not only do I wonder how Phil Spencer got promoted to head of, Microsoft Games Studios, whatever that division is called now. I wonder how he still has a job. JP Loco, not enough reasons to justify buying an Xbox, I guess. As the months and years go by, with the decisions and announcements that Microsoft makes, they give you less and less of a reason to purchase the Xbox. And myself buying the Xbox One S that I did a while back, like 6 months ago, however long ago it was that I bought it. I would like to say that I'm suffering from buyer's remorse, but the vanilla Xbox One that I had before that was having a multitude of problems, and it was really getting on my nerves. I was at the point where I was ready to give my Xbox One away and just be done with Xbox altogether. But I still wanted to have an Xbox on hand because my son is an avid Gears lover, and he wanted me to keep an Xbox on hand so I can play multiplayer with him. And so therefore, that was my biggest reason for going to buy an Xbox One S when I did. But other than playing Gears with my son and watching YouTube on it, it has no use. It's virtually useless for me. Microsoft wants the Xbox hardware to drop. I believe it's Spartan God. So I ask again, how does Phil Spencer even have a job? I mean, if he can get promoted for sales, he got promoted first. But if he can still hold a job after sales dropping 48%, I can do wonders for Microsoft. I can make their sales drop 80%. And that should elevate me to to the top of the food chain, with only Satya Nadella being the only one over me. Um, said Phil Spencer ain't going nowhere. They're still making too much money from the services. I recall hearing that services are up by a certain percentage. I will get to that, JP Loco, because I mean, I would probably say I feel like the services are probably what has Phil Spencer's job hanging in the balance. Um, personally, um, I think Microsoft has put all their eggs in the Game Pass basket. Hey, Joystick Guru, what is up? Some time ago, Phil got them to measure monthly active users, and I think this applies to PC too. Mm-hmm. Um, I don't know. I mean, something's got to give. Support Gaming, what's up? Something's got to give with Xbox sales being down 48%, and then they're creating um, they've created the Xbox Sad Edition. Scarlet is coming, aka Anaconda. The rumored Xbox Mini is coming, but yet you have Phil Spencer jumping up here saying that we don't care if you don't buy the console. It's all about the services. I mean, if you don't care whether the consoles sell or not, in my opinion, why are you even making them? You said if people migrate from Xbox to PC, then there's no harm done. I mean, yeah, that's true. That's true, uncompetitive. As long as they're still, what's the word that I'm looking? As long as they're still in the ecosystem from the service standpoint, yes. If they're migrating from the Xbox to the PC and they're not buying shit, then you've basically lost customers rather than them moving from one platform to another. They have to sell consoles at a loss, so it would benefit for them to for every user to buy a PC and play Xbox games instead. I would agree with that. Um, I'm beginning to wonder if Microsoft is trying to push to go in the PC direction. Um, I don't consider even though I have a gaming PC, I don't consider myself part of the PC master race. I don't consider myself a pony. I probably did when I first started up my channel. I probably consider myself a hardcore pony. I consider myself a VR enthusiast. But I will say that I think Microsoft might be making the push towards PC because in terms of games, I don't think it takes much to please them because PC people are cheap. They don't buy these $60 AAA games. And if they're interested in these games, they try to wait until the games come down to $20, $15 or something when these games are long past their prime. And, and I will say that I think it's a little odd that some people have $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 computers only to play these strategy games that looks like it's fresh off the PS2. Maybe that's why Microsoft's going in that direction, trying to go in that direction, because they won't have to spend 40, $50 million developing games and being able to appeal to a PC demographic. Maybe they can make these cheap ass looking State of Decay games, and maybe they will appeal to the PC genre. Who knows? Maybe Microsoft plans not to make a lot of Scarlet consoles. Saris is great. That's exactly right. I have said before, when Microsoft is making all these bootleg looking AA games, it makes absolutely no sense for the existence of Scarlet. Other than the Microsoft exclusives, everything that's available on Scarlet is going to be available on the PS5, and um, and the PS5 could conceivably be more powerful than Xbox Scarlet. And if that is the case, Scarlet, as far as I'm concerned, is dead on arrival. If the PS5 has more power, games like Call of Duty, Battlefield, that kind of stuff, why would I buy them on Scarlet if I can get them on the PS5 and they look better, along with the exclusives that Sony's going to be making, which, in my opinion, are probably going to look marginally better than third-party offerings. JD Max, what's up? With that being said, Saris is great. Yes, I think Scarlet, I don't want to use the word flop because I really think Microsoft has low expectations for this console. I still don't understand why they're making this console. But I think because of low expectations that Microsoft could possibly have, I expect them to make Scarlet on an as needed basis. I think they'll make enough for the first wave. And then after that, I think they will only manufacture these consoles on an as needed basis. They will only manufacture them as retailers order them. You know, I think they could possibly manufacture them in like maybe 100,000 unit increments and then spread them out to retailers that ordered them. But no, you know, you're not going to see a situation where you walk into Walmart or Best Buy and you see 20 Xbox Scarlets sitting on the shelf and just grab one and walk on out. No, you could conceivably have to order one from one of those websites. So, support gaming. We would say that Microsoft, Xbox have realized that they are not on the level that Sony, PlayStation is to in-house games. And uncompetitive, you said that would be hard to do. We all have seen Scarlet is some specs and circuit board. What if they are not making it at all? Uncompetitive, that is a very interesting comment. Because Sick Humor did say that he thinks that Microsoft does not want to make Scarlet. And that makes a lot of sense. And it continues to beg the question that if they don't want to make it, why are they making it? Makes no sense whatsoever. Coon, what's up? Andre 6K, what is going on, my man? And Spartan Guy, you said PS5 will win indeed. Yes, it will. So, and again, I've said that 1,000 times, you know, that's where I was going to go because I'm like jumping all over the place with this. What's going on, Coon? Microsoft, I believe Microsoft is targeting kids. I've been saying this for a few months now. I think other than Gears is probably, in my opinion, their only game that you could say is targeted at adults. But now that they've added these emotes and shit like that into the game, it looks to me like they might be targeting young adults and teenagers. You know, with the silly ass emotes like EA tried to do with Battlefront 2 when they added emotes in the game, which I thought was really corny. But I think Microsoft is targeting kids, you know, with games like Bleeding Edge, games like Lucky's Tale. I don't think State of Decay was an adult game. It just wasn't for me. I don't think Sea of Thieves was an adult game. And I think Microsoft, I think the entire service-based ecosystem is aimed at kids. I've said it before that when it comes to the games, if I decide that I don't want to buy a Microsoft game, they will not be able to change my mind. The chances of changing my mind is slim and none. But if my son comes to me and asks me for a game, I am more likely to say yes. And I think that's why Microsoft is trying to target kids. And Craig Harris also said something that made a lot of sense too, that Microsoft seems to be flipping this script and targeting kids to try to appease Nintendo so they can try to get some of the games over on to the Switch. I think that makes a lot of sense as well. I didn't know what their motive was. I was just starting to put the pieces together and started to believe that Microsoft was targeting kids. And then and I've said this before in a previous podcast. Again, if I don't want to buy something from them, they can't make me buy it. I won't. But if my son comes up to me and says there's 5 games I want and they cost $60 each, that's $300. There's a good chance I might tell him no, or I might tell him you can have 2 out of those 5 games, pick which 2 you want. But if all 5 of those games that he wants happens to be on Game Pass, and he comes up to me and tells me that, Game Pass is $1 for the first month, then I'm likely to say, yeah, go ahead. So I think Game Pass is targeted at kids. Some people feel that Game Pass is targeted at broke people, but I think Game Pass is targeted at kids because I think kids can. I think it'd be a little bit easier for kids to convince their parents that $10 a month won't break them versus paying $300, for 5 games. So I think the games like Bleeding Edge, the service such as Game Pass, I think they're aimed at kids. So I think Microsoft is creating an entire service-based ecosystem that is aimed at kids. And going back to Bleeding Edge, I do not think that was Ninja Theory. I really don't think they wanted to make that game. I think that was Microsoft. I think Microsoft had their hands all over that game. That game has you can tell by the way that game it looks like they are trying to make the next Fortnite. The so-called vibrant looking colors, not quite a battle royale looking game, but something within that, hemisphere. But look at some more comments here. Uncompetitive. Microsoft could be pretending to make a more powerful rival to the PS5 to retain their power user Xbox fans, then cancel it, even though they never worked on it, and force PC sales. That's a possibility. It would be something that would piss off their hardcore fans, probably to the point where they would be done with Microsoft. Let me have a look at this. Your update is ready. Your PC needs to start to complete the update. Okay, give me a second, folks. I've got to restart my Alienware computer. I'll be right back. Okay, folks. Phantom Mephisto, the Canadian grizzly bear, what is up? I had to update my PC. I had to update the Windows 10 on it. I'll get to this eventually, but the Gears 5 beta, I played it on my Xbox One S, and I wanted to see what it looks like on PC, so I went to install it on my PC, but I needed to update the version of Windows 10 that was on my PC. So I had to do all that crap. It took a while. I'm doing pretty good, Fatal. So I am waiting for my computer to update to the latest version of Windows 10, and then I will install the Gears 5 beta so I can take a look at it on PC. And plus, I know that my son is going to want to see it on PC, even though he has the Xbox One X. He will probably want to see it on the PC for the purpose of playing it 60 frames per second, I guess. So, to go ahead and put a bow on this situation with the Xbox sales being down 48%. Um, Let me see. Uncompetitive. It is possible that Microsoft are stalling as they are working on a simpler version of Windows for gamers called Windows 10X in hopes Xbox gamers will transition to PC that use it. That's interesting. But boy, oh boy, Fatal. I mean, not Fatal, Uncompetitive. I don't know. I can't help but feeling like if I was an Xbox fan, then I would be seriously disappointed over what's been happening to them over the past 5 years. And I would probably be one of those people who would find myself getting ready to make the jump over to the PlayStation. And with that being said, why would I spend $1,000 for a PC to play these same crappy Microsoft games? I'd be ready to just let it go all together and just jump straight over to the PS5, where I could conceivably play the better version of third-party games as well as the compelling exclusives that Sony will continue to offer. Um, so, I mean, that's an interesting concept, uncompetitive, but I just don't know. They already have a product called Windows 10S, which will only be run apps downloaded from Microsoft that are malware free. Yeah, I mean, those are interesting points. Uncompetitive, and the thing about it is, some people might think some of the theories that you come up with, some people might think that's like insane, but you can't put anything past Microsoft. Uh, there's no theory out there that is ridiculous when it comes to Microsoft. So let's go ahead and put a bow on this. Xbox sales down 48%. They don't seem to care about the consoles or the hardcore gamers anymore, especially with Phil Spencer telling people we don't care if you buy the console. To me, that was a Donnie D moment right there. No, you're not insane, uncompetitive. I was just saying that some people might think some of those theories would be insane. So I mean, I know God knows how many things I've said that people might have thought was crazy, like me saying that the PS5 was going to come out in November of 2019. A lot of people thought I was nuts for that, but I stuck to my guns on it. But no, what I'm saying is, you know, Microsoft wanting people to transition to PC. Um, some people might think that that makes no sense, but this is Microsoft we're talking about. So there is no theory out there that is ridiculous. So, um, so those theories that you come up with, uncompetitive, makes just as much sense as any other theory that's out there. Said Coon, there isn't stupid theories, just stupid people. JP Loco. Oh, you're talking to Coon right there. EJ Johnson, what's up? Streaming services are still trash. I would agree. Um, damn it. 1 second. I got to go to the PC again. Hold on. Okay, I've got my Alienware finishing the update. Once it's done, I will have to run back to the PC again to install the Gears 5 beta. But excuse me. But there will be a couple of moments where I'll have to run back to the PC again a couple of times to click a couple of buttons, what have you. Um, Sales doesn't mean it's a good game. Just look at God of War. I thought God of War was a great game. The back and forth with the chemistry with Kratos and Atreus, and how the father and son bonded. Yeah, I did have a fatal moment, Coon. But the way Kratos and Atreus, the way they bonded towards the end of the game, that drew me in. In some ways, I felt like Kratos. Uh, this this more conservative Kratos won't wouldn't get violent unless he had to. Um, as far as answering questions for Atreus, he only told Atreus what he felt he needed to know. Whenever Atreus would ask him a trillion questions, a lot of yes or no answers, or I don't know, not a lot of extra shit. It's like that with my son. My son doesn't ask as many questions as he used to, but he did ask a lot of questions. Um, Questions to the point where if I gave him an answer, the true answer, it might seem like a complicated answer, and it would only lead to more questions. So I try to give him watered down answers, and that's the way Kratos felt to me. And when they spread the mother's ashes together, that was the final moment of father and son bonding. I think God of War was a tremendous game. Looks, story, gameplay, one of the best games ever, not just this generation. So, but going back to the Xbox thing, I think it's going to come down to this. I think I think Satya Nadella could conceivably still want to kill off the Xbox brand. Therefore, I don't think Phil Spencer's in a hot seat. But if XCloud fails, this cloud-based gaming, if that fails and Game Pass doesn't meet expectations, because Game Pass is not a failure because it brings in money every month. So Game Pass isn't a failure. The question is will it meet Microsoft's expectations? So I think that if xCloud fails and Game Pass underperforms, then yes, I think Phil Spencer could conceivably end up in a hot seat. Because these consoles are not going to sell. Xbox Video, what is up? You said it's a year before the new console releases. People are saving for the new one. Of course, sales will drop. It happens at the end of every console generation. Good point, Vidiot. But hey, the PS4 is still selling. It may not be hopping, it may not be cooking the way it did a few years ago, but it's still selling. It's still a hot item. There are games that are still coming out. With Death Stranding, possibly The Last of Us 2. Those are games that still give you a reason to buy the PlayStation 4. After after Gears 5 comes out, what games does Microsoft have left this generation to offer you that would make you want to run out and buy an Xbox? So you do make a good point. Xbox Video, but I think that isn't the case. I just simply think that content is the biggest reasons why sales are down as low as they are. So again, I think if xCloud fails, myself, I I don't know. Nobody's definitely nobody's going to pay $60 for a game to play it on their phone. But what these $1 Game Pass offerings, I have to admit, there will probably be a good amount of people who will subscribe to Game Pass for $1. Um, they probably will play these games on their phones. We will have to see. But again, if these two services fail or underperform, then Phil Spencer could very well find himself in the crosshairs. So that is all I got on that part. But I mean, Xbox sales being down 48%, that is alarming. And to me, that is not anything you can say, oh, that's to be expected. It's the end of the generation. Um, I thought the purpose was to try to sell as many consoles as possible until you can't sell them anymore. Um, the next generation is still a whole year and a half away. And in my case, I don't, it doesn't matter. The minute the PS5 is available for pre-order, I will be on it because I expect pre-orders for the PS5 to sell out. In my opinion, I believe pre-orders for the PS5 will sell out within an hour. So trust and believe I will be on top of that the minute pre-orders are available. It will be a day one purchase. If you don't get one during that first wave, I think you'll find yourself going through the shit that I'm going through here with this Oculus Quest. It's supposed to be here Monday, but I spent well over a month trying to wait for retailers to get this thing in on their shelves, and it just came to the point where they're not getting them. So I had no choice. I finally had to go through Amazon to order it. Speaking of which, let me take a quick look because I was hoping this damn thing would have shipped today or yesterday. But it's supposed to arrive Monday. I was hoping that it would arrive this weekend. Still says arriving Monday. Nope. No more progress than the previous time that I've checked. Okay, folks, I'll be ready to move on to the next subject here in a second. Let me run to the computer so I can start this Gears 5 beta download on the PC. I'll be right back. Okay, people, the Gears 5 beta appears to be downloading. So that brings us to the next subject, and that will be the Gears 5 beta. I took a look at it yesterday. Needless to say, there was a lot of problems. I think I was on that Gears 5 beta for about an hour trying to get into some games with my son, and we were unable to get together because of it's just for one reason or another. The thing was it was a mess. I think it was a broken mess, but it was a beta, so I can't really point the finger at Microsoft about that. But you would think that with the game only being about a month and a half away, it would have ran better than what we got yesterday. And I was on for about an hour, but I was only able to get like 2 or 3 matches in. My son, I think he was on that beta for about 5 hours, and he said he was only able to get about 3 matches in before I hooked up with him. He was able to get a couple of more matches in, after that. But so in any case, so let's go ahead and talk about it. First of all, I would probably have to say that if you are looking for 4K offerings, like 4K graphics, HDR, resolution, do not buy an Xbox One S. The shit does not look good on an Xbox One S. I played Gears 4 on my Xbox One S with my son, and I think it looks awful. The colors are not good. The edges are rough. The colors the edges almost blur together. What's up, J-Dog? And it simply does not look good. This 4K upscale shit on the Xbox One S does not look good. But Gears 4 did look good on the Xbox One X and PC. It looked good. But it looked awful on the Xbox One S. And Gears 5 beta was no different. It did not look good on the Xbox One S. But I am going to try it again on the PC once it gets done downloading. And I will try it on my son's Xbox One S once he comes over later on today. So getting on to gameplay, more like Tears of War. To me, that beta, to me, it was not. It didn't look like a whole new game. It basically looked like Gears 4.5. The mechanics are the same. It's still the same duck and cover system. A few animations, different animations. A couple of new weapons. And for the most part, that's about it. It wasn't garbage, but it wasn't something that had me jumping out of my socks. Hey, you could say that too, Spartan God. You mean Gears 4.1.1? Yeah, you could make a strong case that that's what it was. So, yeah, this couple of new weapons, couple of animations. That was about it. The thing that was a big turnoff about this beta was at the beginning of this beta there was a tutorial as if it was a totally new game. You've got Bear talking to you and going through a tutorial. It's like Gears uses a duck and cover system. You'll need to take cover behind those barriers. Try it now. And then you go take cover behind. Great. Next thing you'll need to do is how to traverse over the barriers to get to the next barrier. Try it now. Next, you'll need to aim your weapon, point it at that target right there. Try it now. What the fuck? Gears has been the same shit for about the last 15 years, however long this damn game been out. And you putting a tutorial out there like this is like a totally new game built from the ground up. No, the fuck it's not. JP Loco, you're just eating right now, but listening, cool. That tutorial was a slap in the face. They made that tutorial like I was new to gaming. It was an insult. It was corny, and it was unnecessary. So that's probably the worst thing I had to say about the beta. As far as the graphics and shit like that, I can give you a more honest opinion of the graphics and the colors and shit like that once I see it on PC and once I see it on the Xbox One X. And that's about it. I got to play it a few more times today so I can have like I said, a good grasp on what I want to say about the game. I don't want to make a judgment call on this game based off of one experience and try to make it sound that I've been playing this game for the last 2 months. I'm definitely going to put in some time on this game today. I could conceivably stream it today, but it would be my son playing. But yes, I could conceivably stream it, the PC version, because trying to stream the Xbox version, you have to go through Mixer, which is like, to me, makes no sense. To me, it's pointless to stream on Mixer. I've streamed on Mixer a couple of times and only had like 1 or 2 people viewing. It makes no sense. So if possible, I will go ahead and stream the PC version later on today. You guys can make your own call from what you see. Yeah, JP Local, like having a tutorial on that. Why? It's so damn simple. It don't need one. Exactly. Right there, EJ. Right there said, next, try to get a machine gun and then shoot some crap. Try it now. It was stupid. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the last subject, and that is you guys knew good and well I wasn't going to let this podcast go through without some kind of VR news, but I wanted to talk about the Battlewake VR beta because this is basically Sea of Thieves in VR. I tried to stream it. I was going to try to stream it this morning when I got up, but somehow I was not able to bring it into the OBS. I'll try it again after Midori, what's going on? After I get done with this podcast, I got to get in touch with Gamertag VR, and he's supposed to walk me through how to get this game onto OBS. And then if I can get it to work, I will stream it later on. But just like to talk about what I experienced so far, the graphics are basically Sea of Thieves graphics. They're the cartoonish looking graphics. I would probably say that if Sea of Thieves wasn't in 4K, if Sea of Thieves was in 1080p and you would have put it right next to Battlewake, you wouldn't be able to tell them apart. You wouldn't be able to, as far as flat screen goes, if you would have put them next to each other, you wouldn't be able to tell which is which. You wouldn't be able to tell which one was the flat screen game and which one was the VR game. So that tells you how sad Sea of Thieves was. But the graphics, Sea of Thieves VR, but with laser guns and laser sabers also in space. So you're on a ship. You are steering the ship, and you have a target where you have to go. We went to an island and we attacked the island. You point, you basically use a pointer to point where you want to aim, and once you hit the fire button, it either fires bullets or fires cannonballs um, until you completely destroy the target. Now, each ship and each captain has special abilities. It has specs. Like the ship that I used was well rounded. It was the jack of all trades. Then there was other ships that had speed but didn't have, but their weapons ratings was low. And then you had ships that were the opposite, that had where the meter was filled up as far as the weapons goes, but it had no speed whatsoever. The ship that I used was right in the middle. Again, it was a jack of all trades. The captain that I used, each captain has special abilities. In the case of the captain that I chose, one of his abilities, I think, was to if I did it right, it appeared like it pushed the ship back to create more space between you and that ship. One of his other super abilities was a typhoon. I created a typhoon, and the ships that were near it got sucked into that typhoon, and the ships were ripped apart. So that part was neat, seeing that typhoon rip those other ships apart. And I think the other part that was neat was I rammed a ship, and when I rammed the ship, it tilted the other ship, and pieces came flying off of the other ship. So that part was interesting too. But I only played that beta for about 20 minutes because after I played it, I wanted to get a feel for it before I tried to bring it into the Streamlabs OBS. So I ended up spending more time trying to import the shit into the OBS than I did actually playing it. But I will go back and spend some more time with it. All in all, I would probably say I think this game, based on what I played so far, I think this game should probably be worth about $15. I think $20 for the game would be stretching it, but if that's the type of genre that you like, then I guess it would probably be worth the $20. So again, I need to spend more time with the game, which I will do today. Once my son gets over here, we're going to have to take turns with the Oculus because you guys probably seen it before, how much time he spends playing Pavlov and Five Nights at Freddy's. Those are still two of his favorite games. Also, but I was able to get Defector into the OBS, and I was able to get Vader Immortal into the OBS. So I will stream one of those games today. I started Defector. I started the campaign on Defector, but once I stream this game, I will start over from the beginning. Medora, you said, should we get Craig to do a cooking stream for the Church of Free Smoke? Why not? I think Craig tells it like it is. When he goes in on Xbox people, I don't think he's going in on them just to rant and shit like that. I think he's just telling it like it is. But speaking of Craig, we talked about it, and we will fire up live from Wakanda here. I think possibly next week. Hopefully, whether I start up live from Wakanda next week or not depends on how much gaming news there is. If there's not a lot of gaming news, then I don't want to just jump on here just to be talking, just to hear myself talk, and just taking up time just to do it. I want to have something to talk about. So it all depends on how much news evolves over the next week. But let's see here. The Gears beta, the download is at 47%. It's also in downloading gaming services. Okay. You said what I mean by cooking. I mean roasting beef on the Xbox One X. Does it run hot enough to cook roast beef on it? Wow. I just thought about that. Xbox One X, what, it came out in what, December? No, it came out November or December of 2017. Um, it's been out. Damn, it hasn't even been out 2 years yet. But people already got to get geared up to buy the next console. That's kind of fucked up. $500 for a console, and you already got to get ready for the next one. I think as far as my PC goes, my warranty runs out after 2 years. After the warranty runs out, I think the only thing I plan on updating in that computer is the processor. There's an i5 9600 in there. I'll update to probably whatever the best processor is on the market that's compatible with it. And that's the only thing I'm going to have to do to it. He said in Wakanda, we know how to party. In Wakanda, we know how to party. Woo, Wakanda forever. Yeah, I must really need to kill time to come up with a Wakanda jingle. Hey, there you go, JP Loco. Maybe you can write some lyrics for a Wakanda song, and then we can get with Sick Humor for some beats and have him make a Wakanda song out of it. But that's about all I got. I think the only other thing I probably want to add is I want to thank everybody who tuned into my last stream of Project Cars 2 test stream with the webcam over in the corner. That was actually a lot of fun. And I say this, time and time again that I will do more of those streams, but a lot of times, especially during the week, I've been working these 10-hour shifts and I've been exhausted. So it's been really tough to get up during the week and play some VR because you really have to be in the mood for it to play it. And it's kind of tough to get in the mood to play it if you're tired. But I will do more of those Project 2 car streams. It's really fun playing it in VR. You said, "Oh, I stole that from Cartoon Beatbox Battle, Black Panther versus Batman." JP Loco, yo, Lincoln Porter Rock got a PSVR. You should try to convince him to get Firewall and play a few rounds with him. I saw his post on Twitter when he got the PlayStation VR. I did send him a message, telling him welcome aboard. So if you are happen to be listening, Porter Rock, I think I might have said it before, but again, welcome to the VR community. I hope you have a lot of fun with that PlayStation VR. I think if you approach it VR with an open mind, I don't expect you to choose VR over flat screen games, but I think if you approach it with an open mind and you get the good games that are on VR, I think you'll like it, and I think it'd be something that you will add to your options as far as games that you like to play. So hopefully he will like it. He says he'll give he'll play it for a few days and then he'll give his review. So I'm looking forward to waiting to see how he feels about VR. And then if he likes it, if it turns out that he does like VR, then yeah, I'll contact him and say, hey, you know, these are some of the games that are these are some of the more popular games on VR. You know, check out the trailers or whatever, and see if it's something that you think you might like. So, but yeah, that's cool. That's cool that Porter Rock joined the VR community. You know, and being that he made the post on Twitter, and he showed everybody the headset at the beginning of his last video, that to me is a sign that he's excited about trying it. So again, I hope he likes it. I hope it lives up to any kind of hype that, you know, that might have been preconceived about VR. I hope it lives up to it. So with that being said, you know, it's been about an hour. I'm gonna get ready to boogie on out of here. But again, I will do some streams today. Me, myself, or my son, one of us will do some streams today. If you do see a Gears 5 beta stream, more than likely it will be my son playing, because he absolutely loves Gears, and my son is a beast at Gears. Whenever he's not horsing around, whenever he buckles down and gets serious about it, my son is an animal on Gears. JP Local, you gave Porter Rock some recommendations like Firepoint, The Persistence, Ghost Giants, and Intruders. When you recommended, see, I wanted to contact Porter Rock and recommend Firepoint and Firewall for him, but those are two games that require the move control, the aim controller. And I guess before I go that far to try to suggest Firepoint and Firewall to him, you know, I need to wait and see if he ends up liking VR. If he ends up liking VR, then yeah, I'll hit him up and say, hey, you know, Firewall and Firepoint are two games that you definitely want to check out, but you'll need the aim controller. So, because those are two games that I think is pointless to play without the aim controller. So with him just now getting it, I couldn't recommend it to him until I find out whether he likes VR or not. You know, the Persistence is a decent game. I've only played it for a few minutes. I do have the game. I've only played it for a few minutes. Eventually I'll get back to it, because, you know, I'm gathering up a extremely huge VR backlog. So I don't know. That's about it. So I'm gonna get ready to boogie on out of here. And again, you know, you look out for some gaming streams from me or my son today. And that's gonna do it. I will catch y'all later. Y'all have a good one and enjoy the weekend. I'm out.